Aliens vs. Predator Requiem wasn't just a sci-fi sequel. It was a brutal collision of two cinematic titans that tried to rewrite the entire timeline. A veteran predator erasing evidence with military-grade acid, and a hybrid monster turning a small town into a hive. But behind the gore and the gunfire, the entire scene's ruined by lighting errors, stolen costumes sold on eBay, and a scrapped ending that would have introduced a king alien. These are 15 hidden truths about Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. And hidden in the character's backstory, the bizarre truth that this movie has a secret connection to one of the characters in Pulp Fiction. Number 1. The Pulp Fiction connection. The main predator in this film is very different from the ones we saw in previous movies, and his backstory comes from a completely different genre. He isn't hunting for sport or trying to prove himself to a tribal clan. He is strictly there to clean up a mess. The production crew nicknamed this character Wolf, which is a direct reference to Harvey Keitel's character Winston Wolfe from the movie Pulp Fiction. In that film, Winston Wolfe is a cleaner who is called in to dispose of bodies and get rid of evidence before the cops arrive. The wolf predator serves the exact same function. He arrives on Earth solely to erase the evidence of the Xenomorph outbreak and the crashed ship. Number 2. The scrapped King Alien ending. The ending we got involved a nuclear explosion, but the directors originally planned something much more ambitious that would have blown fans' minds. The Strauss brothers wanted to set the stage for a potential Alien vs. Predator 3, and the visual plan was cinematic gold. The camera was supposed to zoom in tight on the Predator's plasma pistol, using that shot to transition directly into the future aboard a massive Weyland-Yutani spaceship. This ship would have arrived at the Xenomorph Homeworld, revealing a tribe of predators engaged in combat with a massive winged creature dubbed the King Alien. This King Alien was designed as a huge boss monster unlike anything seen in the franchise, but sadly the concept was deemed too expensive and was left on the cutting room floor. Number 3. The plasma pistol connection. Even though we didn't get the King Alien ending, the movie still attempts to link directly to the 1979 classic in a huge way. At the end of the film, the character Ms. Yutani is given the Predator's plasma pistol. The implication here is massive. The directors intended for this specific weapon to be the technological catalyst that allows humanity to develop advanced space travel. The idea is that by reverse engineering this gun, Weyland-Yutani discovers the secrets of energy and propulsion needed for faster-than-light drives. This means the pistol from Requiem is the reason the spaceship Nostromo exists in the first place, tying the entire timeline into a single loop. Number 4. The Space Jockey reveal. Before the movie Prometheus came out and complicated the lore, Requiem dropped a massive hint about the wider universe that most people missed. In the brief scene showing Wolf's trophy room on his ship, you can see a wall covered in skulls. If you pause the movie and look at the background, you will see a large skull that looks exactly like the space jockey or engineer from the original 1979 Alien movie. The timeline makes this detail even more insane. Remember that AVP takes place in 2004, while the events of Prometheus and Alien don't happen until the 2100s. This prop confirms that the Predators had encountered and defeated the engineers long before humans first met a space jockey in Prometheus. It implies a much deeper history where Predators were already powerful enough to hunt down the creators of humanity over a century before we ever found them. Number 5. The Young Queen theory. The Predalien creature caused a lot of controversy because of its strange reproductive method. To understand why, you have to remember the standard xenomorph life cycle. It usually goes from a queen to an egg to a facehugger and finally a chest burster. The Predalien completely rewrote this script. Instead of laying eggs, it forced embryos directly into victims, effectively changing the cycle to Predalien, direct implantation, and straight to chest burster, skipping the egg and facehugger stages entirely. This upset many biological purists, but the special effects team at ADI had a specific explanation. They classified the Predalien as a young queen or a transitional evolutionary stage. Since there was no adult queen to lay eggs, the hybrid adapted to use human hosts as living incubators, bypassing the egg stage to speed up the hive's growth and build an army much faster. Number 6. The scrapped dead predator scene. If you own the book Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, Inside the Monster Shop, you will find a terrifying concept that was filmed but ultimately cut from the movie. In the theatrical version, when Wolf enters the crashed scout ship, he simply finds his brethren dead on the floor. However, the original plan was much more macabre. The prop department actually built detailed dummies of predators that had been flayed and suspended from the ceiling. This is a massive lore implication. It confirms that the Predalien didn't just kill them like a mindless animal. It performed a ritual. Because it shares DNA with the predators, it inherited their specific cultural instinct to take trophies from their prey. The scene was likely scrapped for being too confusing for general audiences, or perhaps too intense even for an R rating. Number 7. The Blue Solvent mystery. For years, Predator fans asked a very logical question. If these aliens have been hunting on Earth for centuries, why have we never found a single piece of their advanced technology? Requiem finally provided the answer with a new, specific gadget. Wolf carries a mysterious blue liquid that acts as an incredibly potent military-grade acid. When he pours this substance onto dead bodies or the wreckage of his ship, the biological matter and the futuristic metal dissolve completely upon contact. He uses this to erase the crashed scout ship and the victims of the facehuggers. This creates a convenient narrative. The reason humanity never finds their tech is that they have a strict protocol to chemically melt it down before they leave. Number 8. The missing mandible. The character design of Wolf was built to tell a story without using any dialogue. The directors wanted him to look like a battle-hardened veteran who had seen countless wars, not a young hunter on his first trip. This gritty look is actually a direct homage to a legendary figure, Dachshund, also known as Broken Tusk, the veteran predator from the original 1990 Aliens vs. Predator comic book. Just like Broken Tusk, Wolf features specific permanent scars. He is missing one of his mandibles and possesses a dead white eye that looks like it was caused by an acid burn. These injuries are visual confirmation that he has survived encounters with xenomorphs in the past. He isn't shiny and new like the predators in the first film. He is damaged, worn out, and ugly. Number 9. The Black Hawk Down concept. Before the movie settled on a small town in Colorado, the original script was radically different and much more ambitious. The screenwriter originally pitched a version where the Predator ship crashed in an active war zone in the Middle East rather than suburbia. This version would have revolved around a team of Special Forces soldiers encountering the aliens and predators in the middle of combat. The concept was described as Black Hawk Down meets Aliens, merging gritty modern warfare with sci-fi horror. It promised a much grander scale of action, but the studio likely discarded the idea due to the massive budget it would require and the logistical challenges of the setting at the time. Number 10. The first glimpse of Predator's planet. While many fans assume we saw the Predator Homeworld in AVP 2004, that's actually a common misconception. In that film, we only witnessed the massive mothership arriving on Earth back in 2000 BC. Requiem actually makes history as the first film to give us a real look at the surface of Yautja Prime, the Predator's home planet. But there's a mind-blowing detail hidden in the background. If you look closely at the environment while Wolf is gearing up, you can see massive Predator statues carved directly into the towering cliffs. One of these statues features armor that is almost identical to the gear Wolf is wearing. This has fueled a popular fan theory that Wolf isn't just a random cleaner. He is likely a legendary veteran or even a national hero on his planet with an elite social status. Number 11. The weird science connection. While fans officially know the hybrid monster as the Predalien, the production crew had a much more human and hilarious name for it. Throughout the entire filming process, directors Colin and Greg Strauss referred to the creature as Chet. This isn't just a random name, it's a direct reference to the obnoxious, bullying older brother character from the 1985 cult comedy classic Weird Science. The directors felt the Predalien's aggressive, arrogant, and disruptive behavior perfectly matched the ruin-your-day energy of that character. It's a bizarre piece of behind-the-scenes trivia. While the audience was watching a terrifying, town-ending hybrid monster, the creators were essentially treating it like a giant, scaly version of a high school bully. Number 12. The secret Xenomorph weapon. If you look closely at Wolf's arsenal during the fight scenes, you will notice a weapon that we have never seen before in the franchise. He carries a long, razor-sharp bullwhip that can slice through enemies instantly. This isn't made of metal or standard Predator technology. A closer inspection of the prop reveals that it is actually crafted from the segmented tail of a xenomorph. This is a massive, mind-blowing detail for fans because it serves as a weaponized trophy. It tells us that Wolf has hunted these creatures before, and he has mastered them so thoroughly that he can turn their own bodies into tools for his next hunt. Number 13. The movie you literally can't see. The most famous complaint about this movie is that it is simply too dark to see anything. It has been jokingly called the black screen of death by frustrated fans. The directors claimed this was an artistic choice to make the monsters look scarier by keeping them in the shadows. However, technical analysis suggests a different problem. It appears the gamma levels were crushed during the converted process from raw footage into final format for theaters. This error deleted all the detail in the dark areas of the image. To make matters worse, they filmed the climax in a heavy rainstorm at night. This causes the image to lack contrast and definition, turning everything into a murky blur. Number 14. The Predator of Westeros. The actor behind the Wolf Predator's mask is a towering 7'1" former professional basketball player named Ian White. But his role in this film was just the beginning of a massive cinematic legacy. After bringing a terrifying physicality to Wolf, White was handpicked to return to the franchise years later as the Engineer, the godlike creator of humanity in Ridley Scott's Prometheus. His ability to portray massive, intimidating figures made him Hollywood's top choice for legendary monsters. If he looks familiar, it's because he is the same man behind some of the most iconic creatures in Game of Thrones, having played the first White Walker, the original mountain Gregor Clegane, and the heroic giant One-One. When you watch Wolf hunting in the shadows, you are watching the same man who helped Jon Snow retake Winterfell. Number 15. The Auditory Time Capsule. While the film faced heavy criticism for its lighting, the production team was obsessively committed to one specific detail: the audio. The sound designers didn't want to create new modern noises for these creatures. Instead, they went back to the original source. They dug into the master archives from the 1979 Alien and the 1987 Predator to pull the exact recordings used decades ago. The high-pitched, metallic hiss of the Xenomorph and the Predator's iconic rhythmic clicking are not recreations. They are the original legacy sounds. This was a calculated move to trigger auditory nostalgia. The directors wanted to ensure that even if you couldn't see the monsters clearly on screen, your ears would instantly recognize the legendary titans that once terrorized the crew of the Nostromo and the jungles of Central America. From the scrapped script concept to the controversial young queen biology, Requiem stands as one of the most aggressive attempts to expand the franchise lore, even if much of it was hidden behind the infamous black screen of death. It leaves us with a fascinating what-if. Specifically, whether the series would have survived if they had actually filmed that massive King Alien finale on the Xenomorph Homeworld. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the darkness, don't forget to like, drop a comment on which fact surprised you the most, and subscribe for more breakdowns of sci-fi horror history.